Hello, welcome back. This is episode 31 of Building Up a Model Railway, and this is building up my model railway up in the loft. I'm going through that process of we've put the boards down, we've got track and a bit of cork down in places. I've even put some ballast and static grass down because that's the fun stuff. I've got to do it somewhere. I've been painting up laser cut models and enjoying that. And on my latest episode, you'll see that I've been putting the lift out section into my layout, which has been really great actually. I also kind of varnished the MDF, but check out my previous episodes if you like them. I've enjoyed making them, and I've enjoyed your really positive comments that have come on there, and it's driven me to want to do the next thing. So what are we going to be doing today? Well, what I want to do is on the lift out section is have where the tracks are, them where they would join up is where there's going to be a gap. I want to have a copper clad piece connecting up the, just grabbing bits here, so the track, basically we're going to take out these two sleepers. Well, what I do is I'm going to zoom in now with the camera, we can have a look at that. And so we've got the track, that's going to have two of its track sleepers replaced with the copper clad. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to CNC machine the sleepers out, which would be really cool. I'm looking forward to doing that. As well as I want to make a jig so I can perfectly align these, because you know what it's like, things have been moving around while you're trying to heat something at 400 degrees. Not so much fun. So that's my... yeah, it's one of my plans of what I'm going to be doing, as well as making some other little fixtures to help me with what I'm doing. So when I want to align the two pieces of track, I want to make sure that they're not like this or like this, that they're perfectly aligned, as well as screw them in place. I've ordered some screws off eBay. I watched Budget Model Railways, and I saw them using some screws instead of nails, and I thought that would be perfect. So I've ordered them, but they're not going to be here for another week. But I happen to have some small self-tappers. I thought they'll do the job for now. It will represent what we need to do. At least I can get a loco going around with at least one set done. And to do one piece of track with a lift out board, I need to do this 4 times. So 1, 2, and 3, and 4. And we'll see how well that works, and we'll just focus on the one. And then we can have some fun. I haven't run an engine round for a little while, so I'm looking forward to all that. The other bit is I want to make some spaces that will basically distance the track either 40mm apart from the inside edge to the other inside edge, so we can distance it. And then I want to do a 50 and a 60, so then when I put the track down going around corners and stuff like that, I can make sure everything's kind of uniform and looking right, because I kind of do it by eye and I think it's okay, and then you get to the other end and it's a bit close and try and move it around and you're bending the track a bit and it's not so much fun. So what I'm going to do is I've already done the program and the drawing to work out how to do the sleepers. We're going to do that, and we're also going to do the aluminium part. So what I've got is a nice piece of aluminium here, and we're going to get that and we're going to throw that on the machine, and we're going to cut all our parts out of it. So what I'm going to do is we're going to go down to the garage, but I've got an app. I got it the other day, and what it is it allows me to teleport to any room in the house as long as it's near the Wi-Fi. If I get towards the garage, it gets a bit hit and miss. But what we do, I'll load up here, okay, and yeah, let's take me to the garage. I'll stand up for this, otherwise I end up sitting down and I'll fall over. So, right, fingers crossed. That works, brilliant. So now we're in the garage, and I'm gonna tell you about my machine. This is my CNC machine. Well, this isn't, this is the monitor. The CNC machine is here. And basically it can cut aluminium, it can cut some steel, but only to a certain like type of cut kind of thing. So you can't go too deep, too hard with steel, but with aluminium we can push it a little bit more. And I've been making some upgrades for the machine, so I can actually run a higher RPM but actually gear it, so then I have a slower spindle RPM and really do some big cuts. But maybe we'll see that on another day. This is model railways, so you want to see things to do with model railways. But this machine can cut an area of 500 by 700 millimeters, so that's a good size, and it meant that I could actually finish some of my other projects, which I was making a Garden Railway live steam engine. I've made the chassis in bits, and maybe I'll put some clips up now, you can see that, but I need to finish it. But anyway, on here I'm going to make all the alley parts now, and you can have a little watch of that going round. I'll also be making our fiberglass parts. Maybe I've already mentioned this in the previous bits. But yeah, let's go and make all these bits, see how it's going, and have some fun. Right, so we've made all our parts. I'm pretty happy with them all. I'll put a nice little shot in here, you can see them all looking glamorous. But one of the things I've been really happy about doing is the jig. The fact that we'll be able to hold down the track when we're doing it. Everything will be perfectly aligned. We'll go through that upstairs, and it should be great. I'll just teleport back up into the main room now. Just find the app. Okay, there it is. Get ready. Okay, that didn't work. Let's try that again. Ah, worked that time. Right. Well, I wouldn't recommend that to everyone, because you never know where you're going to end up in the house. I could land it inside the bath, the toilet, would have been tricky. But let's have a look at these parts. Put them together, and it should be alright. This is the magical piece. What we do is I'll do a separate bit of footage now, and you can watch that. And basically we have this big heatsink, is my view of it. What I should have done, I've been thinking about it, is the area that takes the PCB board, which is actually 1.6mm thick, and the Hornby track and the Peco track is 2mm. I've had to cut up some little bits of card to space up the copper clad that goes underneath, but next time I make one of these I'll make it a little bit higher, just for doing the Hornby track. So this might be good for something else, who knows. Anyway, so that's that. And what I'll end up doing is I'll be putting the track on with the copper clad, and I can perfectly solder it. Then we've got our alignment tool, so that will go on here. Okay, so that's gonna sit very nicely. Again, we're gonna have some footage in here, you're gonna see how it's all looking, and that will line up with the other one. And that will mean that it will be perfectly aligned with the screw going in through the top. You can see there's a nice little gap there, and that gap, it will be mean you can get your screwdriver in, screw it together, knowing that you've done a good job. Anyway, the other bit is our spacers. So you'll be able to see now, we've got our two pieces of track. We're going to grab our 50, that's our 50 just there, and we're going to just drop that in, and that means it's exactly 50mm apart. That's a pretty big gap. Then we've got a 40. Maybe I want to make a smaller one, but we need to bear in mind we're going to have coaches going around corners and stuff like that. I feel like I might need to go back down and make a 30mm at some point. But anyway, hopefully that's been quite interesting to you. I'm sure you can buy these from somewhere, but for me, I just make it. It's a bit easier, a bit cheaper. If I've already got the material kicking around, I'll just make it. So that's been brilliant. And then we've got all our sleepers, which has been absolutely brilliant. I've enjoyed making them. I've got a handful here. I'll show you on the camera. We'll see them all zoomed in. You can see what I've done. If I did them again, I'll probably cut a little bit slower in places so I don't have to do any deburring afterwards. But they look good. I think that I would only change is the heatsink bit. And so our heatsink goes on. I'll show you that in operation, and we'll have a go at soldering now if you're up for it. Let's do it together. I haven't soldered yet. I promise you I haven't soldered onto it. This is all clean. You can see there's no spots of solder gone onto it, but I have a bit of faith in what I'm doing. And I'm going to use I've got a LRP soldering iron. It's a soldering station that they make, and it's a very good iron. It can unsolder the toughest of joints, I find. I've had some soldering irons over the years that you really the whole thing starts getting hot. All the wires are hot and the components are hot, whereas this iron's able to get on there and really desolder stuff. So that's for my RC cars when I do that. But soldering the track might not be so difficult. So what we do, we're going to bring the camera down and you're going to have a look at it whilst I do it. Here we are. We have our little board here, and we can go through how this works. Okay, so I've made these little tabs which are going to hold down the track, and I've got my copper sleepers, which are, they've got their fiberglass or whatever that material is, and I've got a hole there to hold it down, and then I've got the brake there so it doesn't short out. And I guess I can make these for the 009 as well. I've been doing a few ideas of different things, so I think I'll do them as well, but that'll be on maybe another video. We're a bit busy with this. But as these are 1.6, I need to raise it up about 0.5 mm to meet up with the Hornby size. And I've got some bits of card here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to drop the bits of card, put them down here onto the front of it. So what I do is I'll turn the iron on. We're going to zoom in. Okay, so that's in place there. So then we drop our copper clad piece on there. Our soldering iron's heating up. So that's now there, that's got a snug fit there. And then we've got our track. So we use the other end because we haven't already got a fish plate on there. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to snip off where we have the joins there. So obviously on the Peco and the Hornby track it's the same on these. So I've made my snip there. But these are a little bit tough to get off, but they're not so bad. Actually, this one's surprisingly easy. So we'll just slide that off here, and we'll see we've got our nice little joint here. I guess it's probably a good idea to try and just clean up the bits that are going to be soldered with. So I'll get my electrical cleaner. Okay, and all I'll do, because there might be some dirt on there, let's come down here and we can have a look together. Right, so that's that. It's always an aim of trying to get things in focus. So I'm just going to run that on here. It's going to be going under there. And there's a little bit of dirt on there, so that it's got a bit of a mark there. And I just get it nice and clean. Okay, so that's lovely and clean, and you can see that there is actually some dirt on there. And all I do is where we're going to be doing our soldering, is just make sure the copper is clean. So that's all good, and that was clean. So, oh, that's not the one I'm doing, so I'll grab that one and I'll put on the one that I've just been doing. Okay, so that's in place now. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to drop my track on here, which slots in absolutely perfectly. I'm chuffed to bits of how well that's gone. And now we have, if we have a look from a side view, we have our copper clad piece all held in place very, very nicely, which would be perfect for when we want it spaced for the track, so it will look like it was designed like that. So what I'll do is I'll pop that here, and I've got these little bits, and these tabs create like a heatsink, so that means that the track doesn't get super hot. Because I understand that obviously the plastic sleepers will take a bit of heat, and it would just, you know, maybe I could have moved it up a bit further, but I wouldn't be able to get to those areas. So what I do is it only lightly touches it, so the track would actually be able to slide out if it didn't have other bits in the way, but it just touches on top. I tried to make it to, let's dare say, call it perfection. We'll put these out of the way. That's obviously what we've replaced. And yeah, so that should keep that nice. So now our soldering iron's at 406 degrees. That's pretty hot. I've got water on my sponge. We'll bring it all in a bit closer. And I'll get my solder. It's all a bit, because I'm filming it, I was thinking, well, how are we going to be able to see any of this? And what we do is we'll play with some views in a minute, and we'll see how well that looks on the filming. Okay, so let's just zoom in completely there. I'll move this around. We'll rotate this around a little bit more, and you should be able to get a better view of it. Here we are. Okay, so I've got my solder, some 60/40 tin and lead solder, so we shouldn't be using lead. I'll have to get myself some better stuff, but I'm doing this at home. But you would probably want to use a bit of flux on this. I haven't got any, so we're going to see how well this goes. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to get my iron on there. And what I sometimes do is I kind of put a bit on to help with continuity of heat or conductivity. And I'm just going to touch on here. And it's touched the track, and then it's gone there. So very easily gone on. So that's fantastic. So that's one there, and we're going to do that 4 times in total. So I don't know how well you can see it, so I'm just going to turn this around a little bit more so you'll be able to see. So again, everything was clean before we started. One of the reasons I put 2 holes here so you could screw it onto something so it stays rigid, which is something that I'll probably do next time, but I don't want to screw into my nice table. So then I'll just come down here, I'll put a little bit of solder on each bit. That will heat that up. I'm just going to come across here. We're almost there. Not touching the track enough there. Right, so that's now soldered that side. So what will we do? We'll do the other side now. So it's looking good so far. And soon we'll be finished with that one. And I'm going to have a few of these to do, so it's going to be very interesting. So just coming in here. Okay. That's all good. So that's looking pretty neat, but we'll get a bit more strength in there. I don't mind if we can kind of see that there is a small solder joint, as long as I know it's going to stay on. So that is now on there. It's not coming off. And so when I put it on my railway, I'll put some spacing under there. It'd be good if you could buy 2mm copper clad for the Hornby stuff, but I know that some of the finer scale, like Code 75, CNL, and all those different ones, they're thinner. So I'm sure this would be way more appropriate. But as you can see, that's looking pretty good. So all I'll do is I'll take it out of here. I've got some other ones to do, and I'll start getting an idea of what I need to do when I go up into the loft after doing this. So let's just get that out. Take that one off there. And as you can see, we've got perfect spacing. Like, you cannot get better than that. I'd like to see someone try. Apart from obviously the quality of the solder joint, that's up to you. But yeah, I'm really pleased with how that came out. Like, tell me what you think in the comments. I'm really pleased. I really liked what Dad had done, and I thought, well, what I could do is make a jig, and I did, and the jigs worked perfectly. So I'll do this a few more times for practice for myself and some other bits. I can make loads of these. It doesn't take me a horrendous amount of time to make these. We have the little bits here, and we want to see how well they line up when we actually use our cool little jig. So basically that will come in here. It can line them both up. One would already be in a roughly the right place, sitting on the other side of the board, as my thoughts. And then we come down here with our screw and screwdriver, and then all I do is I do that one up, and then we do up the other one because we're happy, and that should be in the right position. And then when I take it out, it would then would stay in the right position. So with that done, we're gonna now go up into the loft. I'm gonna have a look at the joins on the boards, and grab some track, and I can come back down here, do some more soldering, go back up there, and we can work all that out. So should be really, really good. Like I said, I'm just going to do one line because there's lots to do and it's going to take some time. And I think that you'll get the message of what I'm trying to do. So let's get the phone. We'll just go and teleport into the loft. We've got to be careful though, because I might get stuck halfway with the floorboards, who knows. So let's load up the phone. Right, get ready, fingers crossed. Whilst you're waiting for me to buzz right back in, I was going to talk to you about some progress that my dad's been making on his US layout. He said it still needs a name, but it's based on Lamy or Lamy, I'm not sure how they say it there, but it's in New Mexico near Santa Fe. And Dad was explaining that it's the junction depot for the branch to Santa Fe itself. He said the actual junction was a triangle, but he couldn't fit it in. He's explaining that the rest of the track plan is correct, although it is compressed and curved, and it's set in the 1960s because he loves his older diesels. The size of the layout, it's 15'6" by 7 and has 10 boards, so it's going to be pretty big. The track's Peco code 83, and he's going to be using the DCC concept slow motion point motors with it as well. And the layout will be DCC with sound on most of the locos. I know he's been playing with it, my brother's been helping him. And the DCC controller is a homemade one from the Merg kits. He's part of that club, he quite enjoys it. Yeah, the videos are from the operator's side of the layout, and the fiddle yard will be at the back. But yeah, so I hope you enjoy seeing that. I like seeing all his updates, and yeah, keep them coming, Dad. Oh, that worked. I've tried this before and I go back into the garage sometimes. It's pretty crazy. Anyway, back onto some serious stuff. We're here. This is the board. We're going to focus on one line, so that would be great. And we're going to use the screws. I checked the post today, and the screws are here. And if you type in model railway screws or track screws or whatever on eBay, maybe I'll put a picture of the place where I got it from. I've got no affiliation with anyone, I'm not sponsored or anything like that, so I found these on eBay, and that was actually through the Budget Model Railway channel I was watching. And they're these jiddy screws which will be perfect for screwing those ends down, so yeah, we'll be using them. It's even supplied with a small screwdriver, so that's brilliant. So yeah, I have another screwdriver to my collection. You get to pick if you have it or not. I'm saying it as if they've given it for free, but I think it costs like an extra £1 to have the screwdriver. So what we'll do is we'll get the camera onto the area that we're going to work on, and we're going to go from there and you know, make a difference. It's going to be good. I'm going to put some drop down wires through the side of the track as well, so then we can power up one side and the other, which will then get disconnected when you lift the whole board off. But first we'll put the track on and we go from there. I'm going to have to add some cork as well, which will be great. I haven't added some cork for a while, so we'll crack on, get that done, and we'll see how we go. It's a bit warm up here, so I'm actually going to take this hoodie off for continuity purposes. I've now done all my teleporting. You know, I don't want to be changing my clothes every time I do it if I've done it over a few days. But anyway, yeah, we'll crack on and see you in a second on the other view. To keep it simple, we're going to get this one to join this one. We're going to put some drop wires down underneath it. I'll twist them together for now. I'm going to get some connectors for it, and we're just going to do this one, and then we're going to run it across, adding the various points that we want to add in. It will join this side, which then connects to the curve there, and then we're going to do a nice full circuit before the end of the night and have some fun. Okay, we have our cork, we have a knife, we have some light. I'm going to have to cut some strips of this. It's only going to go in a straight line, which is great. And then for the points, we can trim out some shape for that. So I'm going to cut a straight line now. To my best attempt, I'll use a piece of wood as a guide and use a pen to mark out how wide it will be. Cutting mat's handy, but I could do it with a longer one, or a bigger one, or yeah, one with more length. Give this a trim and then I'll do it on the other end. Could do it with a thinner piece of wood here. Can't quite get to the bottom. Okay, so that's that, and then the width of the track, might as well go for the width of this piece of wood. So if I line that up now, I can cut the other side. Never cut towards yourself, chaps, or chapesses. Okay, what I'll do whilst I'm here, I'll cut another strip. Okay, so that's that. That should be enough to get us over there. And then we're going to have one for our point in a bit, where that will join on. So we've got our 2 points that we're going to use. This is going to be my turnout to take us over to the hillside part. And then you've got this one which takes us to the other track. So that will be great. And so we'll work out our rough gap of what we want. And I'll just have a little sketch up. Do something like this. Okay, then we're going to add our ballast later on at some point and hide anything that we didn't do quite right on this one. And then we're going to come across here. Just going to neaten up this edge. So my model railway club that I started going to, I haven't seen them, clearly, because of everything that's going on. But if any of you are watching from the Kettering Model Railway Club, hello. And I can't wait to see you all again. After the help from basically Dangerous Brian and Martin, who I used to do the N-gauge layout with, who I'm looking forward to doing again with soon. They've taught me a number of things to do on the layouts, putting points in, point motors, all on the N-gauge, and I've had a really good time working with them. So that's them. There's a lot of others that are there. That I'm looking forward to seeing when we all get to go back, but hopefully they're all keeping safe. And any of you that are watching, hello. I had an email from Martin the other day, so I've been chatting to him. That's been really nice for me. So now we've cut out this piece, and I'll just drop that on there. Again, it's a bit dished, but it will hold down nicely. We'll put some extra tacks in there, as you've seen me do in the past. So that'll be that. That will join up with that, and then we'll do the one for this longer one. See if we've got enough on there. Not really on that one. So we'll find another piece of cork. As if by magic, we have some more cork. Right, got a nice straight edge on that one, so that's good. You can see it's all simple enough. How about I get the camera in a bit closer for that one? You might want to see a bit more of that, what I'm actually doing. Okay. That should be good. That's for our large point. So obviously I say not to cut towards yourself, but if you're cutting away from your body, you should be all good. Okay, so that's that. And now we're going to cut along the line, or try our best anyway. Bit deviation always happens. Okay, and that's now for the longer points. We'll be fine for this one, so it's all good. Look at that, it'd be perfect for us, and hopefully It will look great once we've done it. So we'll put that there, and when we come to do the curved bits in a minute, well, in a minute, it'll be a few minutes, we'll get the other bits done, get some wires through and see how we get on. Maybe I even stick to one end, who knows? But let's crack on. I'll start laying the cork out and we'll see how it looks. So this has gone pretty well. What we'll do is we'll do a couple of shots and we'll look at it going over the areas. Really pleased with how this has gone. I've used some chocolate blocks or choc blocks to connect up the wires underneath, and eventually I'll have some proper connectors, which would be cool. The next step is basically just running engines over till I'm happy. I'm not completely happy with this second-hand point. The 060s kind of struggle on it a little bit. This is the Peco medium one, but I've got the long Peco one here, which is from their Code 100 range. That is faultless, but it seems okay. I've been cleaning it up, so yeah, see what you all think anyway. So we'll run the King over this and see what you think, and we'll just go from there and just have a little play and see how they work on the joints. I'm really pleased so far at how they've come out. Taken a long time. I had to go to bed last night, so that's why I've changed clothes now. But no, I'm looking forward to doing the rest, but I think I'll have a break before I do much more. It's a good process though. It's satisfying. Soldering the copper tabs on, well, the copper clad bits, the little sleepers, they look perfect on there. The perfect spaced distances that are there. Really what I was after. So yeah, let's take a little look at the engine running backwards and forwards. I need to give these engines a good clean. They're a bit lumpy at the moment, but there's no issues when they go over at all. No derailment. I was wondering if there'd be a problem there, but it's good. That's that one, and then we'll follow him over to the other side. Crossing that bit there. And that's good. So that's the larger of the engines. It's going to slow as I can run it, otherwise it gets a bit funny. Like I said, I should give him a clean the motor and go from there. He's a bit out of focus there. So what we do is we'll swap it over with one of my little locos, just to show you that there's no issues with these. Right, let's have this little chappy come forwards. No trouble at all on that one. Again, he needs a clean. Oh, got stuck on that point there. See, there's me thinking I've nailed it. Sure, a little bit more speed would be okay. Alright, he's out of focus. We'll just bring him back and you can just watch him come back. I'll go a little bit faster this time. Should be alright on this joint. There we go. And over there a bit, no problem. So that is wonderful. I hope you enjoyed all of this. I've enjoyed doing it. The copper clad sleepers with the jig, everything worked out really nicely. I've got dropper wires now, so I've actually got soldered wires on the tracks actually going to my controller. I need to clean my engines a little bit more. It's clear that some of them are running a little bit lumpy. So I need to, I think, clean the motor, get all the contacts nice. Some of the engines I have cleaned, some of my ones that you've seen in the videos, maybe they'll run even nicer. But I've enjoyed all of this, as I've already said, and I can't wait to do the rest, though it does take some time. But it's all part of the hobby. I was talking to New Junction, and I spoke to Richard, and he reminded me the #1 rule is you've got to have fun when doing all of this, and I have had fun, and can't wait to come back up in here and do some work. But now I need to go and edit the video and get it out to you, and hopefully you enjoy yourselves. But check out any of my previous videos to see how I've got to this stage if you haven't already seen all this stuff, and if you want to see more and you want to see it pop up, hit subscribe, you know, and yeah, see you next time. Bye.